Welcome back, everyone. Ready for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be jacking into the world of Accel World.
Oh, S World.
It's this anime that kind of throws us into a future where everything's about neuro-synchronization.
They're like brain-computer interfaces.
Exactly.
But amped up, right?
Way amped up. So picture this. There's this program that lets you speed up your brain, like literally make your thoughts lightning fast.
Sounds pretty amazing, right?
It does, but there's a catch. To keep that power, you gotta fight. In a virtual reality battleground.
Whoa.
High stakes, right. And thankfully, we've got this in-depth analysis to help us break it all down.
Oh, this is going to be good. You know, what I always found so fascinating about Accel World is how it takes this really, really high-tech concept and turns it into this story that's about, well, you know, human stuff.
Like what?
Like self-doubt, the need to connect with people, you know, just trying to figure out where you fit in, especially as a teenager.
Yeah, especially as a teenager.
It's something everyone can relate to, even with all the futuristic stuff.
Totally. And our main character, Haruyuki, he's the perfect example of that. He's like this middle school kid who's, well, struggling. You know, he's overweight, he's dealing with bullies, and he kind of finds escape and a sense of achievement in the virtual world. I think a lot of us at some point have felt that pull, you know?
Yeah.
To disappear into a digital space, become someone else, someone powerful.
Absolutely. And that's why choosing a character like Haruyuki is so brilliant. He's like the perfect entry point into this whole world of accelerated minds and virtual combat. And it makes the emotional stuff hit even harder.
For sure. So, okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. What is this brain burst program, this mysterious program that gives Haruyuki, you know, this power to accelerate his thinking?
It's like suddenly being able to slow down time.
Right.
React faster, think clearer.
Yeah. The analysis calls it a total game changer.
And it is, but the rules of brain burst, that's where things get crazy. So to get this acceleration power, you have to win battles in this like virtual reality fighting game.
Oh, wow.
And if you lose too many times,
what happens?
you lose brain burst forever.
No more super speed.
Right.
No more access to the accelerated world.
Gone.
Whoa. That's a lot of pressure. It makes you think, you know, what would you be willing to risk for that?
Right. And I think that's exactly what the creators of Accel World want us to think about.
Yeah.
Like, how far would we go to hold on to that power, to like that better version of ourselves?
That's a great point. And speaking of better versions, the visuals in the accelerated world, especially those described in the analysis, they sound incredible. All these vivid colors, sleek designs, like it's got to be something else.
Oh, it is. And it's not just about like looking cool.
Yeah.
Everything's designed with a purpose.
Okay, I like that. Give me an example.
Okay, so Haruyuki's avatar, Silver Crow.
Sleek lines, metallic wings, all that. It's not just a cool design. It's like a visual representation of his transformation. His potential to break free from his limitations in the real world.
It's symbolic.
Very much so.
I love that. It's like his avatar becomes this like symbol of the confidence that he doesn't have in real life.
Yeah.
And that kind of reminds me of something the analysis talks about, how Accel World isn't just about fighting, right?
Right.
It's about Haruyuki's journey, his self-discovery.
Exactly. And each of those virtual battles, they become like metaphors for the challenges he's facing in real life.
Makes sense.
The bullies, the anxiety, that constant feeling of, you know, being underestimated.
It's like the virtual world is a training ground for
Yes.
his real-world problems. Makes you wonder if the creators were thinking about like current tech trends, you know, like when they came up with this whole neuro-synchronization thing. It's definitely possible. I mean, there's so much buzz around brain-computer interfaces and how they could like totally change how we interact with technology. Maybe Accel World is just like a sneak peek into the future.
Maybe. Hopefully without the whole fighting in virtual reality thing.
Yeah.
Although I gotta admit, it does make for a pretty good story.
Oh, for sure. And it brings up another interesting point, the parallels, right? Between the virtual world's hierarchy and, you know, the social structures Haruyuki has to deal with in real life.
Oh, yeah, good point.
They're both so competitive, clear winners and losers.
Yeah.
And they can both make you feel, you know, trapped, like you're always reaching for something you can't quite grasp.
So even though Haruyuki has this, like, crazy power in the virtual world, he's still got to deal with all this real-world pressure. It's like the anime saying no matter how advanced our tech gets, those core human experiences, those anxieties, they don't just go away.
Exactly. And I think that's why the story resonates with so many people.
Yeah.
We see ourselves in Haruyuki's struggles, even if we don't have a, you know, superpowered avatar.
Right. And speaking of those battles, he doesn't have to face them alone. There's Kuroyukihime, this beautiful and super smart student council VP. She's the one who introduces him to Brainburst and kind of becomes his guide. And then there's Chiuri and Takumu, his loyal friends who join him on his journey. What do you think about these characters?
You know, what's really interesting to me is how Accel World uses these relationships to explore trust and betrayal. The analysis points out how, as secrets come out and conflicts happen, Haruyuki's friendships get put to the test.
Which I guess is just like real life, right?
Totally.
Throw in ambition and power, and even the strongest bonds can be strained.
Exactly. And it makes you think, have you ever felt that pull? That tension between what you want to achieve and the people you care about?
Oh man, that's a tough one. But I think that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. It's not just cool tech and fight scenes. It's about how we deal with those complicated human experiences, even in this like futuristic world.
I agree. And speaking of ambition, the analysis reminds us of Haruyuki's big goal in Brainburst, reaching level 10 and meeting the program's creator. Now that's motivation.
It's a goal that pushes him and his friends forward, but it also makes you wonder, what are they willing to sacrifice to get there?
Yeah. The closer they get, the higher the stakes become. And the more they risk losing, both in the virtual world and in their real lives. What would you risk to achieve your ultimate dream?
That's a question that makes you think, right?
Definitely.
Because, it's easy to get swept up in the excitement of it all, the virtual world, the battles, but Accel World, it doesn't let us forget the consequences.
Oh, yeah, the consequences are always there, lurking in the background.
Both in the game and, like, in real life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what sets this anime apart. It's not just some cool sci-fi action flick. It goes deeper, asking questions about technology, ambition, what it means to be human in this crazy, rapidly evolving world.
When I think about all the tech advancements we're seeing right now, it's kind of freaky how relevant Accel World feels. It's like the creators had a time machine or something.
I know, they totally predicted where we're headed.
Makes you wonder, are those lines between, like, what's virtual and what's real already blurring?
Right. But let's go back to Haruyuki for a second.
Okay.
The analysis really dives into, like, his psychology. He starts out so timid, so unsure of himself.
But as he goes through these experiences in Brainburst,
Yeah.
he starts to change.
He finds his voice.
It's amazing to see that transformation.
It really is.
It's almost like those virtual battles are like forcing him to confront his inner demons.
Right. And with each victory, each challenge he overcomes, it builds his confidence, not just in the game, but in himself.
It's a classic coming-of-age story, but with a futuristic twist.
Exactly. And he wouldn't be able to do it without his friends.
Right. Totally.
Kuroyukihime, with her wisdom and strategy.
Chiuri, always there for him.
And Takumu, always pushing him to be better.
Yeah. It's a good reminder that even in this, like, super connected world, human connection still matters. We need those people in our corner.
It's vital. For growth, for self-discovery, the analysis really emphasizes that.
Especially when things get tough. When there's betrayal, right?
Oh, yeah, the analysis touches on that. Even in this accelerated world, there's heartbreak and disappointment.
Just like real life, I guess.
Exactly. And that makes the characters feel, even more real.
Yeah, I get that.
They may have incredible tech at their fingertips, but they're still going through the same emotional ups and downs that we all do.
They get jealous, insecure, they want to belong.
It's all there.
All part of the human experience. Which actually makes me think about this theme of trust that keeps popping up.
Oh, yeah. Trust. That's a big one.
It seems like everyone in Accel World has to figure out who they can truly rely on.
Especially when the stakes are so high.
Right. And do you think that's, like, intentional? Were the creators trying to say something about how hard it is to trust people in our digital world?
That's a really interesting thought. I mean, think about it. We share so much online, right?
Our thoughts, our dreams.
Our vulnerabilities. And it's easy to feel exposed.
It makes you question who you can really trust with those pieces of yourself.
For sure.
It's like the anime's asking, what does trust even mean in a world where reality itself can be messed with?
Whoa, that's deep. And while, Accel World is set in the future with all this advanced technology, the themes it tackles, they feel so relevant to what's happening right now.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder if the challenges these characters face, the betrayals, the power struggles,
are they just exaggerated versions of what we're dealing with in our own lives?
it's possible. And the analysis talks about how much thought went into designing Brainburst itself.
The different avatars, their powers.
All of it. It creates such a complex and dynamic virtual world.
Even without watching the anime, I can almost picture how immersive it must feel.
Oh, it is. The anime brings that world to life. The details, the epic battles.
The battles.
Let me tell you, those fight scenes are breathtaking.
They're that good.
Oh, yeah. The animation, the speed, the sheer energy.
It's gotta be intense.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But what about outside the battles?
Yeah, good question.
The analysis mentions these different factions within Brainburst, each with their own agenda.
And some are even willing to betray their allies to gain more power.
It gets pretty cutthroat.
It sounds like a political thriller.
It does, doesn't it?
A high-stakes one, too.
And that's what makes Accel World so gripping. It's multi-layered, blending action and intrigue with these big questions about humanity in the age of technology.
I love how it balances all those things.
Yeah.
The action, the characters, the relationships, and then that central mystery. Who created Brainburst?
And why?
Right. It's that question that keeps Haruyuki and Kuroyukihime going, driving their quest forward.
And as they get closer to the truth.
It gets even more dangerous.
Absolutely.
It's like no matter what kind of power you have.
Even the power of accelerated thought.
It comes with responsibility.
And consequences.
And with all these factions vying for control.
Yeah, it's a reminder that some people are willing to exploit that power for their own selfish goals.
No matter who gets hurt in the process.
It makes you think about what makes a good leader. A truly good leader.
Especially in a world where the lines between right and wrong can get so blurry.
Yeah.
It really makes you think, like, what kind of leader would you be in that situation?
That's a tough one.
Would you be tempted by all that power?
It'd be hard to resist, right?
Would you be able to use it for good?
Or would it corrupt you?
Yeah.
It's something Haruyuki has to face as he moves up in Brainburst.
Yeah. It's not just a game for him anymore.
Not at all. He's fighting for something bigger.
For his friends.
For the people he cares about.
That's a lot of responsibility.
It definitely weighs on him.
Then forces him to make some, like, really tough choices.
Oh, yeah.
The analysis actually compares his leadership to Kuroyukihime's.
Interesting.
She's way more strategic, more calculating.
That makes sense.
It's effective, sure.
Especially in a high-pressure environment like Brainburst.
Right.
But it also feels kind of, cold.
A little bit.
Detached.
And that's where Haruyuki's heart comes in.
His empathy.
Right. He leads with that. He's always willing to put himself out there for other people.
He might not be the best strategist.
But he's got that genuine concern for his friends.
That makes him a powerful leader in a different way.
Yeah, and I bet that resonates with his allies,
Absolutely. It shows that strength isn't just about power or intelligence.
Right.
It's about compassion.
And the ability to, like, inspire others.
Exactly.
It's funny, right? In this tech-driven world, it's those human qualities that
Yeah.
still shine through.
They always do.
Yeah.
And that brings us back to why Haruyuki's such a great character.
Yeah.
He's not your typical hero. He's got flaws, makes mistakes, but he's always trying to do the right thing.
Even when it's hard.
Especially when it's hard. And it's through those struggles, those moments of doubt, that he grows.
It's like the creators are saying true strength comes from accepting that you don't have it all figured out.
That's really insightful.
From embracing vulnerability.
And it makes the story so relatable.
Oh, yeah.
Because who hasn't felt lost or confused at some point?
Everyone. Yeah.
Exactly. Accel World reminds us that it's okay to not have all the answers.
To not be perfect.
And that growth comes from those messy, uncertain parts of life.
It's like those virtual battles. They're metaphors, right?
Oh, totally.
The stuff we all go through.
For sure.
We might not be fighting for survival in a digital world.
But we all have our own battles to fight.
Our own demons to face.
And just like Haruyuki, we need to find that courage.
The courage to, like, face those challenges.
To push ourselves.
To step outside our comfort zones.
To surround ourselves with people who believe in us.
Who lift us up.
And to remember that we all have the potential for greatness.
Even when we don't see it.
Accel World shows us that even the most unexpected people can become heroes.
That we can change, transform.
If we're willing to put in the effort.
It's a pretty powerful message.
It is.
And for anyone out there who's ever felt like an underdog.
This anime will resonate with you.
So, for those looking for an anime that'll get your adrenaline pumping and your mind going,
Accel World is the one.
It's this awesome adventure set in a mind-blowing virtual world. The idea of neuro-synchronization is so cool.
Super cool.
And the anime brings it all to life. Stunning visuals, incredible action.
It's a visual feast.
But it's more than just that.
It's deeper.
It's about self-discovery, connection, facing your fears and going after your dreams.
No matter how impossible they might seem.
It also makes you think about the downsides of technology.
Sure.
Brain burst gives these incredible powers.
But there's a price to pay.
The fear of losing everything, of being cut off from this world that's become such a huge part of who they are.
It makes you question our own dependence on technology.
How much do we rely on it? What if we suddenly lost it all?
Could we still function?
Would we still be ourselves?
Big questions.
And it's amazing that Accel World can make you think about all this,
While also keeping you on the edge of your seat with the story.
It's a wild ride, and the way it explores leadership is fascinating too.
Right. Kuroyukihime's strategic style versus Haruyuki's compassion.
It makes you think about what qualities really matter in a leader.
What kind of leader would you be?
It's not just about giving orders or being the smartest person.
It's about inspiring others,
Building trust
working together
and using your power, whatever that might be.
to make the world a little bit better.
So if you're looking for an anime that's exciting, thought-provoking,
And will leave you wanting more.
check out Accel World.
Yeah, won't regret it.
Because, as Accel World shows us, the accelerated world is out there.
Waiting for us to discover it.
All we have to do is take that first step.